Good friends of Bill there. I've actually spoke here a couple times at this same event, and I deployed to Iraq twice, Afghanistan once, and Kosovo once. And I was in the same unit as Jen here, and this might actually be a little bit more fun than having Mino, because I know a lot of the stupid stuff she did as a young soldier. So I'll try not to reveal all of it.
Oh, wonderful.
So let's start off with, why'd you join the Army?
I knew I wanted to join the Army since September 11th of 2001. I was sitting in my biology class in high school, and we watched the events unfold on screen. And since that moment, I knew that there was something higher calling me, that there was a greater purpose that I needed to serve. So I had to wait a few years until I got out of high school, and I signed up a few years later, and I've been doing this ever since.
Were you thinking about the college money when you joined?
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the main motivation. The college money and the benefits that you get by serving are massive perks that assist in a lot of different things. I've utilized the college assistance a few times, and I think that they're just small pieces that fortunately we get by volunteering to be part of our military.
So just to re-emphasize those benefits, I medically retired last year after 30 years of service, 20 years active federal. And so I went back to school for photography at NWTC. So my school is completely paid for, and I'm paid while I'm in school. I get $1,000 a month just to go to school. It's a little bit different pot of money from the GI Bill, but it's the same kind of thing. So kids out there are thinking about the educational benefits. It's a great way to pay for school. Mm-hmm. So Civil Affairs.
Civil Affairs, yes,
that's
yes.
what I was too.
Yes.
So why did you join? Did you have some choices, or why did you join Civil Affairs?
I fortunately had a lot of choices that I could go into. I like to hide it, but I had a lot of choices of what I could do. And when I started talking to the recruiter, they started asking me, what do you want to do after you're done with this? What do you want to do career-wise? And at that point, I had no idea. And so I knew that I wanted to be reserve, and they had a couple of units around me, and Civil Affairs was one of them. And when he started telling me what Civil Affairs does, it sounded great to me. Civil Affairs, I like to call us the multi-tool of the military. We work with a lot of our NATO partners and a lot of the countries that we serve in, and we work with their militaries and the local populace so that our impact in that area isn't as great. So if you think about it, whenever we have a military operation in a country or a city or anything like that, we tend to come in, kick some doors open, and say, we are here, and we are going to do what we need to do. As Civil Affairs, we go in and try to say, okay, how do we do this in a way where we work with the local populace, the local population, so that it doesn't disrupt their entire lives? We go in and we say, okay, there's a national holiday on this day, and we work with our combatant commanders or whoever is the overarching leader of that area, and we say, maybe it's not a good idea to do a military operation on this day because it's going to disturb a lot of things. So we just kind of try to make our impact either as helpful as it can be, but also so that we're not affecting everybody in that area in a way that they're starting to look at the U.S. military as, we're not sure if we like them here anymore. They're constantly disrupting our lives. We don't like that, and that's what we want to prevent.
So I was Civil Affairs also. So I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, Kosovo, as I mentioned, and some of the things that we did were a lot of project management. So we trained and equipped firefighters and police. We built and refurbished schools and clinics. We established civil society organizations. We work with schools. We built schools. So, like you said, really a multi-tool of how the Army can help a civilian population and on a battlefield. So, Europe, what did you do there besides have fun?
Europe was a couple of great rotations. When I was in Hungary, we worked very closely with the Hungarian military on, like I was saying, deconflicting a lot of issues. One example is there was a large U.S. exercise going through, and we had a lot of our tanks going through, and everything along those lines. And one of their training areas was very, very close to a local farming area. And unfortunately, our tanks decided that they were going to drive through this farmland because they didn't realize that it wasn't the military land. You're not supposed to drive through it. And being in a more rural part of Wisconsin, we all understand that farming and messing with anybody's farmland is not good. You're going to have some very angry people on your hands if you're driving over their crops. So we worked with the local government of that township, and we worked out a way to deconflict where we had driven through. We worked with the Hungarian military to ensure that those are clearly marked in the future for any future operations. And then we were able to work with the Hungarian military as well to get those farmers back compensation so that it wouldn't affect them in the long run. They were still getting the money that they would have gotten for those crops. So it was little projects like that we were able to do. And then in Poland, I was a little bit on a higher level. So our big project while I was there was mapping out all of the countries that we were in. So I was in Poland, but we had civil affairs teams from Latvia all the way down to Bulgaria. So we were all throughout Europe. And we were trying to understand how the emergency management system was working. And we were trying to create a network. So that way, if there was something large scale where we had to get in contact with firefighters or their police forces, how do we have that network that we can say, okay, this town, this is what happened, we need to send a team out to that town. Okay, we have that police chief's number, and this is who your contact will be. So that was our big project while I was there in Poland, of trying to kind of create a network of emergency management that we could utilize if need be.
So I followed you on Facebook, and I never saw any of this. It was mostly you being a tourist.
Well, that was a perk of it, yes. The tourist part was a perk. We did have our weekends where we could kind of explore around Europe and everything like that. I promise there was work happening. It's just, it's boring. Nobody wants to see that on Facebook.
Very true. So what's next for you? You're in a sergeant major position. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was time for myself to get out of the Army when she made the same rank as me. I think I got to get out. I'm done. I knew her since she was an nobody, and it was time to wrap things up when she made my same rank, and now she's in a position ahead of that rank. You're in a sergeant major position. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
So I'm an E8, but I'm filling an E9 slot, and the operations sergeant major position is one that I never thought I would see. And even in E8, I never thought that I would see it going in as a, private and everything. But being at this level, it's really great seeing our younger soldiers coming in and understanding what they need and how we can really shape what their experience is on drill weekends. As well as a big part of my job is just making sure that all the wheels are turning and everything is running smoothly and people are where they need to go. So it's a little bit of babysitting, but I'm okay with it. I have a son. I know how it goes to kind of manage the chaos.
Speaking of babysitting, there was another post on Facebook. You want to mention that?
Yes. So I have a 13-year-old son, and for any of you guys out there who have parents in the military, I know what you guys it's very difficult to be a child of a military parent, and I'd like to thank any of you who have parents in the military, because if it wasn't for you guys, your parents couldn't do what they do. It's the support of your family and kids is so massive, and it means so much to your parents. So if they don't gush about it, then I will, and thank you. I currently have a 13-year-old, and so he's experienced it, and I am currently pregnant, so hopefully my 13-year-old can pass on some wisdom to my new child coming into the world, and the newest will have both parents dual military, so it'll be an experience.
Well, how about a round of applause for special mom showing up? So, Bill, thanks for allowing me to step in for Mino. I'm going to get in touch with him as soon as I can and figure out where he's at. Jen, thank you so much for your friendship and and all you've done in the Army. And like I said, I knew it was time to get out. And you were the same. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.